YouTube! What the crap's going on? HeirofCarthage back in Total War Warhammer. We got Yadav here coming up against Odium Rico. Should be a fun game. And Yadav submitted this one to me because of his double Shaggoth build that he said he's been enjoying, and I wanted to see it. So, indeed, 2 Dragon Ogre Shaggoths. And then he's got the Chaos Chicken, otherwise known as Sartharel the Everwatcher, rocking as his Lord, so nice disruption capability. Front line of Forsaken, 6 of them, and then there's 3 Aspiring Champions. Look like they're going to come up front to maybe tank some of the missiles. Not a terrible plan. They have shields. They're going to take it a heck of a lot better than the Forsaken. They should support the morale of the Forsaken as well, and you can see the Empire player quickly pulling back, knowing that they're up against some nasty stuff here. There's 2 Demigryph Knights with halberds. I think they would fall apart to a double Shaggoth. Could be wrong. Oh, there's 3 Demigryph Knights with 2 with halberds, 1 standard, and it's going to make a hit on the Forsaken here, which it was okay. It wasn't that great. Double Shaggoths are going to get caught by the spears here and then charged by the Demigryph Knights with halberds, but there's going to be Forsaken support coming in. Again, not sure I see this turning out great. I mean, the halberd Demigryphs are going to put some huge charge damage down, but when they get tag team there, I think it's going to be a bad deal. Demigryph Knights running their shock charges into the Forsaken, trying to slow them down. Empire player continually falling back. Sartharel pushing forward. Did he bring any spells? No spells on Sartharel. Makes sense. He's really just for disruption. And indeed, the Forsaken get here. They tag the Empire Gunners, which is a huge win. The Shaggoths have already frightened and destroyed the Demigryph Knights, and now they're hammered their way through the spears, and the Forsaken are going to help out against the Swordsmen. Aspiring Champions pulling up. Right now, though, the double Shaggoth is definitely earning its respect. Sartharel, disrupting the center of the formation, has done a good job. There's a Grey Wizard here. He's going to be rocking the Lore of Shadows. Trying to see exactly what the Grey Wizard brings to the table. Withering. So that could be a big deal. But just Withering and Enfeebling Foe. Both debuff spells, maybe to be targeted an enemy lord or something. I don't see either one of those spells up at the moment. Here comes the double Shaggoth, and if we look at the overall view, the balance of power still shows relatively equal. There are some Demigryph Knights out here in pretty good shape. Aspiring Champions finishing up a spear unit. The Great Swords in the center are making a pretty tough fight of it out for the Forsaken. But there's more Forsaken headed in. The handgun lines are disrupted and being hit by Sartharel, so they're unable to stop the double Shaggoth, which is now hammering on this General of the Empire. One of them is. The other is taking a rough charge here from Demigryph Knights, but it's going to get support from its brother. So here's the double Shaggoth really going to be dropping some serious anti-large on these Demigryph Knights. But of course, the Demigryph Knights themselves capable of quite a lot of anti-large. Only one of them has halberds, though. So only one specifically dealing that anti-large damage. Shaggoth caused huge damage to both Demigryph Knights. So they are rendered like almost useless at this point. There's still quite a few unit models left, but they have taken an immense amount of damage. What was that hex that came up there? I must have missed it. Some of the Chaos Force is falling apart over here, and I could potentially... I saw a handgunner, but it looks like it just shattered. So yeah, the handgunners are out of the question. So that's bad for the Empire. That leaves them mostly reliant on great swords and a General of the Empire who is desperately fighting a Dragon Ogre Shaggoth at the moment. The Grey Wizard was damaged. Here comes the Demigryph Knights. They're going to get countercharged by the Shaggoth. Shaggoth taking some nasty damage here with the combination of Lord and Demigryphs. But the Demigryphs are soon to be on their way due to terror and damage. Shaggoth still has 2,000 hit points, and Sartharel is about to turn around and head back to the fight. Sartharel should be able to cycle charge some of the infantry to death. The Aspiring Champions could really help out against the Lord here, too, to help tank damage. So there's one Aspiring Champion left there, and there's barely hanging on over there. Now the Shaggoth is free, and he's not hit by anything else, and the damage starts to really drop on the General of the Empire, who is not anti-large. He's not even armor-piercing. He does do armor... Oh, what a finish for the General of the Empire. Whacked right off his horse by the The Shaggoth, I guess, making up for the fact that his brother was killed in combat. What a battle. That was fun. There's another replay that he sent me too here with the double Shaggoth build against the Dawi, which he insisted to me was a tough fight. One of the toughest that he's come up against with this build, and so I'm excited to see this too. I thought he said this was double Shaggoth. No, okay, it's not a double Shaggoth. So this is just a Chaos versus Dawi. Let's see what his pick is for anti-dwarf. Marauders with great weapons in a front line. Like that play. I see the aspiring champions to boost their leadership, so again, like that play. Chosen with great weapons. That's some serious hitting power if they can get into that. Is holy crap. Is that 5 chosen with great weapons? It is. And then we got once again the end times chaos chicken demon himself, whatever his name is, Sarthorel the Ever Disruptor. Like the running noise with him and the little animations. This guy is awesome. What a sweet addition to the game. I wish they would make him playable in the Grand Campaign too. It'd be fun. I think Creative Assembly could add a few things to the Grand Campaign, which I think they probably will. I've heard rumors that they're going to add Boris Todbringer's faction and also the Musion faction with the Red Duke into Grand Campaign. That would be freaking sweet if they did. Yeah, they're not like completely different, but it lets you play the Empire and the Vampires at a different start position. And the Vampire start position within Bretonnia would be really cool, closer to the Wood Elves, closer to Bretonnia. You know, it switches things up as your Vampire play. I like it a lot. And then Sarthorel would be a fun one too. Maybe trying to supplant Archaon as the Ever-Chosen. Because doesn't Sarthorel come to challenge you whenever you're playing a Chaos campaign? I think he does. I've played a little ways into a Chaos campaign, but I've never finished one. And I haven't recorded one either. So look at Sarthorel over here just like kind of taunting the enemy army. Now Chaos is going to have to charge. What they don't like back here is pretty obvious that there's a Goblobber. And against this type of infantry, the Goblobber could cause absurd damage. I see 2 Thunderers. Thorgrim Grudgebearer, and let's see what kind of skills he's brought to the game here. He does have the High King, but I don't see his other. So he's rocking the High King here, which is going to give extra melee attack and stuff to the units. Constant around side, and it's a 250 meter radius, so basically his whole army. Unless they're a long ways away. Let's take a look at the dwarf composition. So heavy anti-armor from Chaos, as expected. For the dwarfs, I'm seeing the main line dwarf warriors, one of which is the Warriors of Dragonfire Pass, which is a really cool unit. So just dwarf warriors up front, those, yeah, that's a problem. And then in terms of other units, we got the Grumbling Guard, which is one of the only anti-armor units, and they would still get wrecked by Chosen with great weapons. The only chance to stop the Chosen with great weapons here is the Thunderers and the Goblobber. Nothing else here can stop those Chosen. Period. End of story. So I'm curious to see, because he told me that this was a close game, a tough match. I'm curious to see how it plays out. Does the artillery cause the damage that it needs to? It very well could. The Goblobber is quite accurate and very damaging, and it hurts morale and everything too with its hits. Thunderers are anti-armor. And then you have a Runesmith, too, that could be useful at trying to use his Wrath and Ruin and other tools to try and keep his Dawi in the fight. Thorgrim, of course, buffs the stats, but there's no real armor-piercing component of the Dwarf army here. Warriors of Dragonfire Pass are a pretty nice Dwarf warrior unit in general. Dragonback Slayers, this is going to be kind of a rough match for them, too, because they're made for anti-large. They did get a boost to their armor-piercing. Ooh, that Goblobber. I thought it actually killed 2 unit models, but it looks like it didn't. Here comes the Everwatcher. He's going to be very disruptive. See that animation there? He's unbreakable. He has quite a lot of missile resistance. If you bring a Scroll of Shielding, you can give him like a minute of an extra 22% missile resistance too. I mean, it's just, you can really give this guy some serious resistance. And here you can see he's going to come in and disrupt. Here comes the first line, the Chaos Marauders. Gonna be backed up by the Chosen. Sarthorel definitely disrupting the Gunners so far. See, he's got their attention pulled away from the far more dangerous targets, in my opinion, which is gonna be the Chosen. So the Dwarf player really focusing on Sarthorel. Now, these Slayers can do some damage to Sarthorel. They're gonna slow him down, number 1. Number 2, he doesn't have a ton of armor. These guys are anti-large, so Sarthrel better get away. They're going to also slow him. So the giant bird is going to have to use his mass here to try and save himself. So try and get through the Slayers by charging, and then keep charging to try and stay away from them. That's going to really be his only chance. So Thorgrim engages against some Chaos Marauders. We've got some Chosen and Aspiring Champions coming up the center. Chosen trying to make their way through the center. If they can block off these Dragonback Slayers, that would be a huge play. But it looks like some Dwarf Warriors are going to get in their way. Where's the Chosen here? The Chosen and the Chaos Marauders ripping their way through Miners as expected. Over here, these Chaos Marauders and Chosen matched up against Warriors of Dragonfire Pass. The Goblobber is causing considerable damage, and the Thane is in there too, so actually helping turn that in favor of the Dwarves. And then Thorgrim over here helps push back some Marauders along with some Dwarf Warriors, which could now, probably they're going to end up dogpiling into this fight, but the Dwarf Warriors there were defeated. The Chaos Marauders here gave up their attack on the Thunderers and went for the Goblobber, which is probably the correct play. Rune of Oath and Steel up. Sarthrel still taking shots from the Thunders, slowly but steady. Being damaged, being pulled down. The Grumbling Guard being misused right now in the background, but it can badly be used in this battle to help protect these Thunderers, who are going to be critical to a late game win. Balance of power is still pretty even. Chosen with great weapons have a ton of kills in the center, but they are slowly losing their hit points here over time, and there's really not much damage to Thorgrim. And Sarthrel's could have maybe cycle charged Thorgrim around to death, but he's not going to want to go in a head-to-head fight with him. Still want to see these Chosen get over here and block out these Dragonback Slayers from hitting Sarthrel. That would certainly be useful. Over here, though, the Chosen and the Marauders and the Aspiring Champions just kind of laying waste to the Dwarfs. The Thane is in big trouble. He's taking a lot of damage. Warriors of Dragonfire Pass, 20 kills, though. Probably doing better than your average Dwarf Warrior out here. The Goblobber has been shut down, but not until it used up pretty much all of its ammo. There was only 3 shots left. It picked up 67 kills. One Thunderer is down, and Sarthrel is going to yet again charge into the next. So big problems here for the Dawi, losing some of their armor piercing and their late game capability. But how do you defend against the Everwatcher as the Dwarves? It's not easy. Those Slayers are like one of your only options, and they finally got chewed up by that Chosen with great weapons. Now the Chosen's going to die, but not after having gotten 109 kills. The Runesmith has racked up 51 kills, which is pretty nice. Thorgrim is now pinned in between a Chosen and a Chosen. So Thorgrim has been chosen by the Chosen, and he is riding a lot of grudges down, but those grudges may have to be fulfilled from the afterlife, because he's in trouble. Magical attacks on Thorgrim won't help him a lot versus the Chosen, and he is going to get chewed up over here. This side got wrapped up, so the Dwarfs are down. Their Thane is trying to get back into the fight. Not a whole lot left for the Dwarves to accomplish here. The Grumbling Guard got brought in very late here. They have picked up 41 kills. Chaos Marauders, though. But still, it's nice to see him come in and get some kills. Thorgrim going to try and get away. This Chosen with great weapons routed, so maybe that freed up Thorgrim. His magic damage, that wouldn't do anything extra to the Aspiring Champions, I don't think. They don't have a physical resistance, no, so it doesn't matter. They do magic damage too. Thorgrim has magic resistance, so the Aspiring Champions would theoretically do less damage to him as well. Yeah, it looks like Chaos is going to wrap this one up, but it was a good fight. The Dwarf player did not go down easily, and the Chosen definitely were able to kind of break the back of the Dwarves over the course of the fight. Very difficult units to deal with when you don't have the right tools. I mean, they are very, very, very tough. Some excellent infantry, very expensive. The Chaos player, the risk he took was not having as much mobility and giving up monsters and mobility basically to have better infantry, and it paid off here. He was able to put that infantry to work, and if you think about that, making that choice versus the Dwarves, it's not as risky as it would be some factions, because Chosen can be shut down, you know, by a lot of cavalry charges and magic and other stuff too. Well, the dwarves don't have magic, they don't have cavalry charges, so it allows you to have a better chance of pulling off this really heavy chaos infantry build. And you can see that, I mean, there's a significant number of kills on the Chosen, but also a pretty solid performance out of the Chaos Marauders, because the dwarf player brought the cheaper dwarf infantry. And again, when you combine those aspiring champions in there to boost the leadership of these guys, they can be useful. They were improved in recent patches. They were normally trash, but they can certainly be useful, and Sartharel is useful mostly just for his disruption. Oh, the Runesmith, I thought I'd seen more kills than that on it, so I must have misread it somewhere. So yeah, the Runesmith, at least here it doesn't say you got that many, but good game. Appreciate you, Dav, sending these in. It was fun. Liked your Chaos builds. What did you all think of his Chaos builds? Do you have some favorite Chaos builds? Are you like him? You like to take Chaos in quick battles, because that's what he told me. I don't know. Just kind of curious to see what you think. I like Chaos. I think they're better now. I think they were like the granddaddy of all crap factions before the recent patches, but that definitely does not appear to be the case. I've seen Chaos be quite useful and quite dangerous, in fact, to certain factions, with just the few changes that came to him, and they were big changes in the end. Hope you enjoyed it. HeirofCarthage signing out. Appreciate MSI for sponsoring this build, the motherboard in it that I'm recording this with, to help bring you quality videos. And I will appreciate all of you while I'm here as well for coming to watch. You're fantastic. You make this fun for me each day to make you content. I will see you soon. HeirofCarthage signing out.